Good Monday morning. Thanks for being with us on Kare 11 News Now. I'm Megan McPherson. Happening right now, crews are out cleaning up the mess that a massive snowstorm left behind this weekend. Some places seeing over a foot of snow, and it'll probably stick around for a few days while cold temperatures settle in. We'll check in with the weather team in just a little bit. Just in this morning, Minnesota State Patrol sharing just how many crashes happening during this weekend's snowstorm. From Friday to Sunday, State Patrol says they responded to over 460 crashes and more than 650 vehicles off the road. 40 people in total were hurt in those crashes, and we know one person was killed in a crash. Right now, several snow emergencies are in effect across the Twin Cities as MnDOT works to clear roads, but parking is not allowed on day plow routes. There is a long list on the city's website showing safe places to park. If your car is not moved off a day plow route, you will be ticketed and towed. St. Paul officials tell us 40 crews have been plowing throughout the night, all 73 plow routes. If you are outside the Twin Cities and taking a state highway anywhere this morning, you may find slick conditions. MnDOT tells us they did not do a lot of pre-treating ahead of this storm because the ground was warm enough to melt that first wave of snow, but that could mean things could be a little slippery this morning. And crews over at MSP Airport are working to get things back on track after hundreds of delays and cancellations this weekend. Right now, there are a few dozen delays and 60 cancellations. Around 700 flights were canceled Sunday, according to the airport's website. Per FlightAware, that accounts for around 75% of all flights in and out of the airport. With passengers stranded in a near-empty airport due to the blizzard conditions, airport employees told Kare 11 the normally packed terminals looked almost unrecognizable.
That's a bit frustrating because it was like, oh, you finna go home Sunday. Now it's delayed. They were saying, oh, I might go home Monday or Tuesday.
When coming in, there's nobody downstairs, and there's usually a ton of people.
Have you ever seen it this dead before?
During COVID. Yep, that's about it.
Rochester Airport was also closed for several hours. It's back open this morning, but the first two flights out are canceled. If you are traveling in or out of MSP today, be sure to check with your airline. Right now, a group of students and chaperones from the Bloomington Kennedy High School show choir are stranded in California. They're now asking for more than $30,000 after their flight home was canceled. The group is in LA for a show choir competition. The money will help cover new flights and buses for the 126 students on the trip. Right now, their plan is to fly to Salt Lake City, then to Denver, where 2 charter buses will drive them home. The choir did start an online fundraiser to help them get home, and we have a link to that on our website. Developing this morning, President Trump says Iran has been essentially defeated militarily and that the country wants to negotiate a deal. Iran's top diplomat, on the other hand, says his country is ready to fight on, and as the Trump administration takes some heat for the rising prices at the gas pump. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Hi there. In an effort to get oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz, President Trump is pressuring other countries to help secure that crucial pathway, arguing it's a joint fight to drive global energy prices down. As the fighting with Iran now stretches into a third week with other countries roped in, including an Iranian drone strike this morning at Dubai's busy airport pausing flights, disruptions to the global energy supply are only growing. In the U.S., oil prices hovering around $100 a barrel, pushing gas prices up more than 70 cents a gallon since the war began.
I think they're quite expensive right now, especially for $4.30.
The Trump administration adamant it's short-term pain.
The prices are going to come tumbling down as soon as it's over, and it's going to be over pretty quickly.
Americans will feel it for a few more weeks, but at the end, we will have removed the greatest risk to global energy supplies.
President Trump calling on other countries to help police the Strait of Hormuz to get oil flowing through that critical route, putting pressure on NATO allies and pointing to U.S. help with Ukraine.
It'd be interesting to see what country wouldn't help us with a very small endeavor, which is just keeping the strait open.
While also insisting Iran wants to negotiate to end the war.
But I don't think they're ready to do what they have to do. But I think they will be ready at some point.
Iran's foreign minister rejecting that.
No, we never asked for a ceasefire, and we have never asked even for negotiation. We are ready to defend ourselves as long as it takes.
Democrats arguing the war is not worth the costs.
Raising the costs and the difficulty of Americans to be able to afford simple groceries.
As they press for a clear exit strategy. China is among the countries President Trump wants to help secure and unblock the Strait of Hormuz. And in an interview this weekend with the Financial Times, the president suggested he could delay his long-planned summit with China's president set for later this month if the Chinese don't pitch in. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
At the state capitol today, some groups are planning to call for an extension of the temporary protected status for Somali immigrants. 2 months ago, the Department of Homeland Security gave those affected until tomorrow to self-deport. But just a few days ago, a federal judge temporarily blocked the Trump administration from ending those legal protections this week. Advocates here at home will be demanding an actual extension at today's 2 p.m. press conference. They're also planning a march this Saturday. And right now in New York City, the WNBA and its players union are on deadline to make a deal to avoid disruptions to the season. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert says they need to reach a new collective bargaining agreement by today for the season to go on as planned. They'll meet in a few hours for a 7th straight day of marathon negotiation sessions. Tonight at the Hermantown City Council meeting, Minnesota Power will give new updates on a proposed Google data center. The building will help power Google services like Workspace, Search, YouTube, and Maps. Minnesota Power says existing customers in the area will not have to pay additional fees. Residents have expressed issues about the center for environmental concerns. In today's Communities That Care, we're highlighting the Minnesota Zoo's STEM Design Challenge. More than 5,000 students from 85 schools across Minnesota took part. Here's a closer look.
The Minnesota Zoo is often called a living classroom.
These are our engineers of the future.
A place where every exhibit, every animal teaches visitors something new. But once a year, the zoo flips the script, inviting students from across the state to help its staff solve real challenges inside the zoo.
So this is actually our 12th year of the program. Each year, it's a different design challenge focused on a different species.
So this is our sea lion project. For the zoo, we're designing a new sea lion exhibit because the old one was not fit for the sea lions. It was originally actually designed for dolphins.
This year's challenge focuses on the home of 5 of the zoo's newest residents.
We really want to make their new space look a lot more like the California coast, giving them lots of environmental enrichment, whether that's different rock structures to swim along, sandy beach to roll around. Students are actually coming up with ideas on how to do that.
For enrichment, we have a bubble that visitors can go in and then sea lions can get really up close.
Among them, this excited team of 5th graders from Cornelia Elementary.
This is our bubble machine, which is another enrichment. It also gets money for the zoo. You can insert a quarter and then it will shoot out bubbles for the sea lions to play with.
We're really curious to see what ideas you have.
We first met them back in November when the students began weeks of research on sea lion behavior.
So we have to thank animals, visitors, and the zookeepers.
Their hard work.
Liam, do you feel ready?
Bringing them to this moment.
Yeah, are you a little nervous?
Exhibition day.
So we have the main outdoor pool for the sea lions.
Presenting their 3D model to the judges.
What school are you guys from?
Cornelia.
Cornelia?
In the end, Cornelia's design didn't bring home any awards.
Such a good job. I'm so proud of you guys.
But their teacher says that was never the goal.
They're not always constrained by the realistic problems that adults think of, and so I just want them to walk away with the fact that their ideas are important and that there's real value in it, and they're seeing that value now.
A valuable lesson from this living classroom.
Stick with us. More news and weather is coming up after the break.